Hej på dig och welcome to Swedish black metal time. Svart metal if you wanna call it full Swedish. So let's take a look at this album by Vananidr and the tredje album by this very band. And here it is. This one is called Damnation. Or so say, Damnation. Well, people who have been watching Rauta for some time, you know that I've gone through actually the two previous albums as well by this band that started as a solo project. Soon after the band got kind of filled, you know, the ranks, and became a three-man party, which that is right now with this third album. The first one came as early as 2018, and by early I mean the band was founded in 2018, so pretty quickly after the band was founded, already got an album out. Fast forward to 2019, and the second album came out actually last June, if I recall correctly. Here's the booklet of this third album, and as you can see, it's nicely laid with some images. Very readable lyrics, and obviously we have some band imagery that is coming up after these lyric sheets have been browsed, and then finally this very dark image to give you a little bit inside what this band actually looks like. Now onto the Metal Archives site. And here we have it, the Stockholm-based band Vananidr with its Metal Archives site. As you can see, pretty much everything is like I said it to be, 3 albums out, a couple of singles. Here it also shows that it started, well, it's kind of was predecessed, you know, this band called Synodus Horrendia. Here it says it was Death Black album band with 1 album out. To be honest, never heard it, so really can't compare how much different it was, but just to give you a little bit of a heads up about it. And here we have this new lineup listed. As you can see, guys have quite a few other bands also. And then finally we have these links here to you to check it out. For example, there is Spotify in case you want to listen to the music on that ways, or Instagram if you're gonna take a look at the pictures, and finally, voila, Bandcamp page with the releases right there to check it out. For example, here we have this Damnation. It's right here for your listening pleasure. Here are the tracks. Here's the basic information, pretty much all covered, and here finally we have this rather nice cover image as well, which is kind of a weird mesh of a goat beast. It seems like some reptile creature is also in that image, some hands. Feels like very symbolic to me, but all that is next to nothing unless the music is good, right? And that is something I really want to talk about, because Vananidr started quite nicely, but not, to be honest, not great, but nicely anyway with the debut album. Now, the second album was a bit of a dip in my opinion, wasn't as good, and it seems like the band was kind of proceeding way too quickly for its own good, that it is too much material which is not that good, and that kind of leaves the band with no time to go through the better parts and the worst parts, to be honest. And with this new album, with the new lineup, it seems like the band is kind of catching up to the level where it was, you know, with the first album. But still, it's, in a way, kind of a rushed feeling. Now, why rushed is the kind of interesting question, because basically there's nothing wrong with that album. It's melodic black metal mostly, and it seems to be a fast-paced black metal, even though there are some nice mid-tempo atmospheric parts. But basically it's Swedish melodic black metal, as clean and nice as it can be. Not exactly raw, not exactly violent, but not too soothing, too atmospheric, too beautiful. It's dark, it's very, very Swedish. You know, all the melodic sense, it's kind of like, hey, I've heard this quite like 1,000 times before. And nothing wrong with that as such, because I mean, if you copy good bands, you will kind of expect good results as well. And in most terms, Vananidr is actually quite nice. I mean, you have this kind of a Vatine or other bands in kind of a melodic sense right there, and it feels like, hey, you're home, you're back, you are just enjoying the kind of stuff you sign up for. But after a few spins later, you're like, okay, this is not exactly surprising, nothing new here as such. Very nice, but still feels like it needs some own ingredients, something to kind of stand out, from the crowd. So while this album has no big flaws, no clear mistakes as such, it is kind of a safe bet. It is pretty much like, hey, just copy this album and voila, there you have it. And I think Vananidr needs something else. Some, I don't know, killer tracks, some hooks, some majestics to just, blow your head off. Now, everything from production, which is really nice, but kind of boring in a way, to the vocals, which are right there to deliver you kind of a raspy, very basic, shrieky black metal style, but nothing out of ordinary. So once again, it's quite easy to enjoy, quite easy to say, hey, it's right there to deliver you some quite good Swedish black metal. But then it is just quite good. It's not like, wow, album of the year. It's more like, hey, album of the week, maybe. Album of the day, I don't know. So, something that you should give it a listen, because it's not bad by any means. It's pretty nice. But beyond that, I don't know. Maybe I've just heard too many of these kind of albums and I find hard to get my kicks out of it. I mean, I'd rather go to bands like Valkyria and Vatine if I was going to this direction of Swedish black metal. But Vananidr still needs something. Something special, something magical, something mysterious, something that is gonna drop my jaw on the floor and make me say, wow, these guys are great. Maybe someday they will be, but not with this album. That being said, listen for yourself and decide whether or not Vananidr from Stockholm is your cup of tea. And once again, I strongly suggest that once you figure out which bands this reminds you of, feel the similar artist thing, because it helps you and the others in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching, take care, and should you have any comments, questions, whatever, put them on the comments box below and I'll get back to you. Take care, don't get virus, and be well.